Everybody, that this meeting is being recorded, and your participation in this meeting is your consent to be recorded and rebroadcast on the city's YouTube channel at a later date. I'm going to ask Tammy Borough to do roll call. Tammy?
Chuck Childress.
Here.
Sean Russell.
Here.
Mayor Charles Wyatt.
Here.
We have Attorney Mark Phillips.
Here.
And Attorney Steve Unger. He can't hear us. Anyway, he's here via Zoom. And City Engineer Clint Roos.
I am here, Tammy, and I cannot see you guys. I can only see the Boonville seal.
The camera's turned off, it looks like.
Whose camera is it?
Michael's got it, I think. It just needs to be checked so he can see us.
Can you
On the
check?
bottom. I don't know if Michael can hear us.
Sarah? Yeah.
Not at the moment, that's what we're having technical issues with.
Okay. Though, at this time, those that would like to join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business would be approval of previous minutes from August the 19th, 2025. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Make a motion to approve. Second that.
I got a motion and second to approve. All in favor of that motion and second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next order of business is mayor's update. This past week, we had a huge Labor Day celebration here in the city of Boonville. We ended up having a pool groundbreaking as well as a city lake park dedication. So it's been a busy week and a lot going on in the city of Boonville. Next on the agenda is citizens' concerns. Anybody that's not on the agenda, Greg Freierbacher is the first one that I've got. Is there a Mr. Freierbacher?
Yeah, it's Freiberger.
Freiberger, I apologize,
That's all
sir.
right. It's on the agenda.
He's with the
You're on-
demo
Okay,
for Third Street.
okay.
Bob Scott.
Bob Scott,
I think I'm under clerical adjustments.
okay. Charles Bennett,
He's gonna go.
you're going to the other meeting.
Lisa Bradshaw.
Lisa Bradshaw, I think you're on the agenda, and Gene Carter's on the
I don't know
agenda.
who this one is. Dean Jacob.
Dean Jacobs,
Are you?
sir?
Parking ticket?
No. He's on,
Are you on the agenda?
not North 9th Street. He's,
No,
isn't he?
no, this one's,
Okay.
No, I'm not on there.
he's got water bill. You're here for your water bill?
Yes.
Okay, you can, is it an adjustment or?
A request for an adjustment.
Okay. You can either,
We'll take him out.
go ahead.
Dean Jacob.
And I am sorry. Okay. Save you more.
Okay.
We've been trying to keep a compressor cool on the roof. And the,
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop you just a minute. Go ahead and give them copies, and then I need you to go to the mic
sure.
and state your name and address. I apologize.
Okay,
That's okay, those two.
I'll let him have that.
Yeah.
okay. I'm Dean Jacob from Save You More.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's the address there?
220 Second Street.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, we've got a compressor. We're trying to keep the store, all the refrigeration working. And for the last couple of months, we've had to run water constantly on the roof on a compressor to keep it cold, or to keep it running. And our waste, the bills anyways, have been tremendous compared to the past months. On the front page, I listed what they had been. And then while we were running the water on the roof, it was quite a bit higher. I'm not asking for a water reduction, just the wastewater, if we could work something out, because it's been a couple $1,000s extra than it would have been. And if you can't, that's all right. I'm just here to request it.
That's fine.
And you all can think about it. You don't have to decide now, but I'm just, we think we've got the problem fixed now, but it has been a couple $1,000s wastewater extra, so.
I don't know if we've got the ability, the authority to do that. Ours is for hidden leaks, our ability to be able to adjust. Am I misspeaking there? Want to make sure that I'm giving you the best advice I can.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when you ran this water on the compressor, where did the water go?
It went down and then across the parking lot.
Into a downspout, or into a
Probably,
a combined?
yeah,
So it was
such as
treated.
if it would rain and whatnot.
Yeah, it would have went to a CSO, Mark.
Yeah.
So, really quick here, what's it cost to send the meter off? And the only reason I'm even bringing that up is that it seems like every one that's been sent off has come back bad. You know, on all these high usage, you know, bills that, you know, we come across, it seems like every meter that gets sent off comes back bad.
What is that? Do you know off the top of your head?
I thought it just got bumped up to 65 or 68, 65. It just recently got.
But I
bumped
don't
up.
think he's disputing that he was running it. Are you saying it could have been more than what he ran, you think? Could
We've
be?
run into it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, so I've driven through Boonville, and I wondered, because I noticed there was a wet spot there the last couple of times I've been in town, so,
We don't have the ability, we've got the ability to deal with hidden leaks,
Okay.
things like that.
Can I ask another question?
Go ahead.
So when did you start using the water to try to cool the compressor?
When the heat came, it's probably been about 2.5 months ago.
Okay,
Maybe-
so-
Maybe 3 months
So
ago.
I'm looking at what you gave us, beginning in June, on June 3rd, for the month of June, July, and August, obviously it went up. So you were not attempting to use it as a cooling agent in March, April, and May?
No, we didn't have to because of the heat wasn't bad at that point. And I understand it if you can't do anything, but I thought I need to ask.
May I, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is, because we have a combined system and because the water went into the system and would have been treated, I don't think we have the ability in our ordinance to make the adjustment as much as it would be nice to do. I mean, I don't think you can do it based on the current language of our adjustment.
if I may, real quick, Mark, to kind of add to your question, if it would go to CSO, so I'm looking at Google Earth imagery right now on Walnut. I don't see structure there in Walnut. Anytime when I would come into town, and it would basically, and correct me if I misspeak, sir, it would basically run down the parking lot on the south side of your building and across Walnut Street. It would kind of pond there, would it not?
I think you're right,
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm not seeing an actual manhole in that location. So I think you could argue there could be evaporation. It might not have actually made it into a structure if it wasn't a large flow. I'm just not seeing a structure on Walnut. So you could probably argue some evaporation of that instead of going into the system. But Jill, you might have more knowledge than I do on that. I'm just not seeing a structure on Walnut.
I don't have a way legally to deal with that, in my opinion. But I'm open.
Well, the whole idea of having the adjustment language in the ordinance was to differentiate between, well, two things: intentional use that's treated,
Sure.
and unintentional use. And when that, because it used to not be that way, and when that was created a long time ago, the idea was to err on the side of the homeowner or the property owner if it was something that they would not have had good reason to know. So, toilet running behind the wall, things where they're clearly hidden leaks, right? In the yard, stuff like that. I don't, and then the fallback was, well, okay, because we have a combined system, if that water goes into our combined system, because of the way we're set up, then, obviously you gotta pay for what was treated. But I don't know, and I may be wrong here, I don't know if we've ever had the question of what happens where we're using it for this purpose, but we don't believe, or pretty strong argument can be made that wasn't treated. Because if it wasn't treated, then I don't know how you could assess
Yeah.
that payment. So I guess what I would probably, and just to be candid with you, Mayor, I don't know the answer to that question, given how our ordinance is structured, but clearly if, somebody poured water and they put it in a bucket and that bucket evaporated, it never went into our system, I don't know how we could charge them for wastewater treatment when that wasn't done, right? So what I would probably recommend is that you table this, give us an opportunity to talk about it and see if there's a way to address it. Because I think if you don't do that, then the only other alternative you have at this point is to deny it.
Sure.
If I may too real quick, it looks like I did find the nearest structure. It looks like just to the south and east of the building, there is a structure on Walnut. So my guess is probably some of it would have went there. It might have found a local one on the other side where it evaporated. But yeah, the marker point, we got a further look at it.
Well, let me ask this, just for purposes of this, if I can ask this gentleman. If the city came back and said, we can't really determine that all of it was treated, and they were to reduce it in half, is that, to you, is that reasonable?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Sure.
And then so that I understand, for purposes of our internal review, you're looking at the months for June, July, and August, 30302, 1025, 49, 703, 63. Are those the three periods that are relevant?
Those are, and that is it, yes.
Okay.
Mark, is our adjustment only for 2 months though? So I don't know if you could go back to get all
Yeah.
3 of his, but we do offer 2
Yeah. Yeah.
if it moves forward.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, Mayor again.
Go ahead.
So I'm assuming you'd want the 2 higher.
Oh, please. If you can do anything, that would be great.
So you'd be looking at about 2,170, 156.
Probably not that much, so
That's the average of the other 3 months.
it would just be the wastewater, not all the water. You know what I'm saying?
It would just be the wastewater. And what I would suggest
my
is
bad.
that,
No, you're fine.
to your point, Sean, that you take the average of what the normal uses would be, and under the scenario I was explaining or suggesting to Mr. Jacob, that it would be half of the amount over the monthly average. So whatever his monthly average is, if it's $100, let's say, just for argument's sake, that amount over in the 2 months, if we don't feel comfortable that we can validate that it was treated, it would be half. It would be half.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, Heather.
So we're on this, I'm not saying the city's gonna do that, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying if that's what they came back and said, you would, that methodology would make sense to you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mayor, I'd recommend you table it so we can
Sure.
investigate further and discuss internally.
Board?
I'll make a motion to table. 50 was holding, I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to table. We meet in 2 weeks, so
Okay.
To the 23rd?
23rd, isn't that right?
Well, no, because
In it next week.
you guys can choose to change that meeting, if you had talked about doing that anyway,
Okay.
since it's a week, so I don't know what you want to do.
All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it to table.
Do they have your phone number, and we'll let you know when the meeting is?
Yes, it's on that paper
Okay,
at the top.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I leave then?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
7:52:40.
Ready to go.
Thank you. I think that was all the other consistent.
no.
Was there another one?
You got Gene Carter.
Well, I
Chris
mean,
Combs
that's
is
not on the,
Agenda, Chris
Oh,
Combs
Chris
is the only
Combs.
other one, I believe,
okay.
that is not on the agenda that has a concern.
All right, well, I can bring Chris Combs.
And Robert Scott, he was here, he was talking about an adjustment. That's the gentleman who we tabled and asked to have him come back. He's in the adjustment. He was already up here, but he's page 3, or the third one on your adjustments.
So if you want to bring him up, and that way you don't have to say it.
Yeah, go ahead, because he was here before. He's next then.
Where's all yours?
Robert Scott.
Name and address, please.
I think there's information in your packet, about this, but I'm Robert Scott at 155 Quail Crossing Drive, Boonville. And back in April, someone who's building a house next to us at 177 Quail Crossing Drive, Danny Davis is the builder, came over and asked if they could use the water for a couple of days for mixing concrete. I told him to go ahead, and after a couple of days, they didn't use it anymore, and I started noticing that my water pressure was down, and they obviously had hooked up to a spigot outside the front of the house. And after a couple of more days, I did some investigating, and the spigot was loose from the house. Walked around the back of the house to the crawl space, and we had 28 inches of water in our crawl space. So our normal bill, I think, our sewer bill is around $100, I believe, a month. And it was $496, I believe, for the month that related to that. And I was wondering if there could be some sort of an adjustment for that.
You want me to tackle this one too?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I don't think the city can make this adjustment. I think the adjustment would need to come from Mr. Davis.
He refused to pay any.
Well, and I can't tell you what to do, obviously, but there are ways to approach that formally that might make a difference. But I wouldn't know how the city would have any way to Bob, I believe what you're saying. I mean, you can see what you're saying, but I don't think the city has a mechanism to be able to make an adjustment in that instance. I think it would have to be,
Mark, if it broke underneath his house, does it matter who actually done it? If it was under the house? I mean,
well, he said it was disconnected.
Under the house.
Underneath the house, yeah.
That's where all his water was.
It was pulled
in the
loose
crawl space.
underneath the spigot was,
So he
yeah.
wouldn't have seen it until he looked in the crawl space. Right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't, I'm not trying to split hairs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's work it out here.
Let's tackle this a different way. Builder of a new home next door was using our water front spigot, and after 3 days of low water pressure, I found
Mark, it
this.
sounds to me like he probably has a claim against the contractor next door.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I suggested a minute ago, but from what, so maybe I'm reading this wrong.
Well, we understood it as it was hidden, the break was hidden behind the wall of the spigot, and that's where his water was coming from,
Yeah, correct.
which would make it
Okay, wait a minute, okay.
hidden.
Hang on here. So you had a plumber come out and he said there was a broken solder joint on the hose
Correct.
faucet.
Yeah.
So this is a combination of two causes. One, overuse by a contractor that you gave permission to use, and the other was because then subsequent to that, it broke and leaked.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question I would have is, how much is attributable to which act?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, I'm sort of talking rhetorically here to these people. I mean, the beauty is I'm not a Board of Works member, so you can do what you want. If your determination is that because of, yes, it would be a hidden leak in the crawl space. So if your determination is that that's the origin of the excess billing, then you can make that adjustment. If your belief is that it's somehow attributable to Mr. Davis's use, then, you can adjust some portion, but I'll leave that to you.
We had to, not to interrupt you, but we had, when this happened, Mr. Davis came over, we got a plumber out there, and they did a sump pump to get rid of all of it. It was about $1,100, I believe it was, for the charge of that. He did pay for half of that, so it's almost like he's admitting that it's.
If we would grant this adjustment and you go after Mr. Davis, I mean, would we get reimbursed?
So you're not supposed to get paid twice.
Right.
And so I think, so let me make this suggestion. Pardon me?
He just paid for half of the plumber.
Of just the remedial effort to get the sump pump working. So my recommendation to you is what I said a minute ago. You'll decide whether it's a leak that's hidden under our ordinance for which you can make an adjustment. You can't prevent Mr. Scott from doing whatever he does to a third party. That's his prerogative. But my advice to you is to determine whether this meets your ordinance, and if it meets your ordinance, you'll make an adjustment. If it doesn't, then you won't.
Mr. Scott, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that it could have been a contractor, it could have been your grandchild that turned that spigot, and I make the motion to approve the
I
adjustment.
can't hear you, I'm sorry.
I make the motion to approve the adjustment for $400.61.
Thank you.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
All right, anybody else that's not on the agenda?
Mr. Combs.
Mr.
Chris.
Combs, it's Chris Combs. Come forward, Mr. Combs. Give your name and your address.
Chris Combs, 5733 Shadow Creek Lane, Newburgh. So I'm here representing Ralph and Patricia West at 1316 Stratford Drive. Everybody here probably is well aware their home burned down. So they hired me to rebuild the house, which we're about ready to move them in. And we were going to hook up the sewer, and I was informed that I needed to get a inspection for the sewer for us just to hook it up, even though they already had a tap. And the tap is perfectly good that I can tie onto and run into the house, but then I was told that I might have to, or they might have to go all the way under the road and dig the road up and put a whole new tap all the way to the main. So I have a tap, I'm ready to move them in, and all I gotta do is tie on to it and I was gonna tie onto it with ductile and PVC is what I planned on doing, and put a check valve in. But I just wanted clarity here, because if I start digging up the city street and go over there, first of all, they can't afford that. And they're 91 years old, in a bad situation with an insurance claim on this thing. So, with the insurance company isn't paying for the whole house, because they were underinsured. But, if you start digging up the street and doing all that, you're looking at probably $25,000 to dig up the city street. So what I'm here asking for permission is to tie on to the existing tap that they currently have, that we disconnected because of tearing down the burned down house. So that's what I'm here doing.
My question is, I haven't heard anything, but what is it clay tile that we were hooking onto?
Yeah, I think your whole sewer system's clay tile.
Okay. So,
Or at least what's not
If I may,
been.
Mayor, a couple questions on top of that. You asked one question I was going to ask what the material of the existing lateral is, but what is the size of the existing lateral as well? Probably 4 inch, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess to me, in our ordinance, our current stormwater ordinance, any lateral or any significant improvement to a property, it states in there that it needs to be brought up to code. So and I don't know anything about the situation, but with a fire and all the work that's going on, to me, that's a substantial improvement. And how I would normally treat that is the lateral should be brought up to code. That would be my interpretation of our ordinance. So what that means is it would need to be a 6-inch PVC.
We can go to 6-inch PVC, but your main is underneath the middle of the city street.
I understand, yes.
And I don't see how it's fair to them when you have a functioning lateral that's intact, all we have to do is tie onto it. And how that's fair to this, because I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm just here representing them because they're 91 years old and not going to stand here and have an idea what to say. But it was purely functional until, this tragedy happened. So I don't understand why I can't go ahead and tie onto it. If you want me to go 6-inch from the 4-inch to the house and put check valve in or whatever, certainly no issue there. But I just don't see how they should have to bear this expense when the entire city is this way, or for the majority of it.
Understand, but the issue is clay. So I totally don't disagree with what you're saying, Chris, but the issue that we have is inflow and infiltration in our system. So the reason the ordinance is written the way that it is we have to slowly make improvements to the system to prevent the I&I that gets into our system, which then Jill has to treat at our wastewater treatment plant, and that's additional cost that every taxpayer in the city has to pay towards treatment. So I understand where you're coming from.
Well, I just don't see where it's not fair to make this couple dig up Boonville city streets and go and put ductile down there. That's just not common sense and practical. That you got to go down there and dig the street up and they bear the expense of something that was there.
So one thing that we have been discussing that's not currently in our ordinance is a cost share program to where the city might participate in some of these upgrades that happen throughout our system because we know it's an ongoing issue. We don't have that approved as of right now. But that is something that the mayor and others and our attorneys, we have been discussing, but it's not currently effective.
Well, I guess I'm here open to discussion right now because if I leave this meeting now, I'm going to tell these people we've rebuilt this house, but you can't ever move in it because you don't have the money to do this. And I don't really think that any of us here want that when we have a functioning lateral that all we have to do is tie on 15 feet from the functioning lateral to the house.
And I do one thing I do disagree with you on, Chris, is calling it a functioning or proper lateral. I mean, I would say the city's policy in terms of requiring people to replace clay tile, even, I deal with a lot of communities that require you have to replace, if the city discovers that you have a clay tile lateral, you've got to replace it whether you're making an improvement to the property or not. They're generally very disfavored. They're known to not be properly functioning, so it's kind of like a septic system. Just because your toilet flushes doesn't necessarily mean your septic system is working correctly. So I think I do disagree with the statement that that's a functioning proper lateral, that it's okay for somebody just because there's an existing clay tile to always just tap right into the existing clay tile. I do think it's appropriate for Boonville and consistent with how other communities operate to require when there's a building burns down or you do you got to build your new house to code. And one of those things is you have to have a lateral that's the code, and a clay tile is not acceptable for laterals anymore. And that's true. I'm not aware of anybody that lets you continue to use and put in new clay tiles and treats that as a functioning lateral. So I think I understand, and to Clint's point, I understand what your concern is, but I don't agree that it's not a proper policy or unreasonable or a functioning proper lateral when you have a clay tile pipe that's was being used for the property.
So what you're saying is that any, and again, I'm not trying to be here and be argumentative or whatever. We're trying to solve this for two 91-year-old people here to make this work where they can move in their house. But at the end of the day, so what you're saying here is every single resident in this town, if a clay tile were to collapse for their lateral, you're gonna go to them and you're gonna say you're responsible to come up with $25,000, which is what the quote I got, to go all the way down to your lateral. So every single individual person that owns a property in Boonville that has a clay tile is gonna be responsible for a minimum of $25,000. I'm just trying to make sure I have this clear.
No, well, I think every connection cost is different, but to answer the, whether it's 25,000 or 5,000 or whatever, under the city's current sewer use ordinance, and Chris, I'll tell you, under every modern sewer ordinance I'm familiar with, the property owner is responsible for the private lateral, and private laterals, new private laterals and current private laterals are being phased out all over the state that are clay, and it's the property owner's responsibility to connect with a proper to code lateral that's PVC. So that's, if somebody has a, raw sewage flowing out on their property and they have a current clay tile lateral and the city comes and finds that there was a line break and there was raw sewage there, that property owner shouldn't be able to go in and repair it and put in new clay tile or ductile iron or just repair the clay tile. Under the city's policy, and I see this everywhere, they're responsible to replace the lateral with a to-code PVC pipe.
Now, we have talked about trying to help our citizens out here. We've been doing a lot of talking, but we don't have it in place today. So, I mean,
Can we not tie on it with PVC where we've already checked to see that the lateral is still in good shape from their yard to your main?
what we had talked about was bringing it to the Board of Works on an individual as needed basis. The city picking up a portion of that out in this, because I don't want you out in the street. I don't want a guy from Washington, Indiana down here that's got a backhoe and his farm, he's done farming, so he's down here digging the streets up. We've had that. We don't want that. So,
My crews are certified.
yeah,
to do this,
I'm just talking.
It really has nothing, let me sort of weigh into this. It really doesn't have anything to do with you.
No.
And I think to the mayor's point is that there has to be some balance, and unfortunately, you're describing a scenario that isn't, it's the minority scenario as opposed to, something different.
Totally agree. I'm here just trying to find a solution.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
no,
here to fight.
that's how I
I hope
no, no.
everybody's taking it that way.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
trying to
no,
help.
I don't
I
do
gotta
it
have a
that way.
discussion with my clients here when I leave this meeting. Okay,
But we have looked at the city doing the hookup. And, that's what I want to be able to do out in the street up to the property line. But if they do that, then I want it brand new from the edge of the property line all the way to the house, because I think that's fair.
it's totally fair, Charlie.
And
And
two
again, I
two
don't-
clean outs and,
I just don't wanna-
and a backflow.
Yeah, as all of you know, I build subdivisions every day.
Yeah.
And so we do know how to do it right. But what I didn't want to have to do is put the burden on my customer for us to go, obviously I have monies in there to tie the sewer back in like I do on every project. Just not to go dig the city street up or go down and put ductile on whatever size that sewer line is.
But
I don't even know what that is.
I don't think that I've got the ability today to say that's what we're gonna do without going through our ordinance and, I mean.
Chris, am I hearing you say you're okay picking up the cost to run a PVC 2-code current lateral from the property to the edge of the pavement? It's when you get under the pavement that's the cost concern.
Absolutely. Any prudent builder would have that in cost of their job, which I do. But I just don't have, I'm good with all that. and we can install that. I don't need anybody to do that. I do it every day. We're licensed to do it. I'm licensed to go in there in the city street and dig that up and do whatever I need to do there with depth or whatever. I put in pump stations. So, my situation is all we planned on was running a brand new lateral, and there was no way in the world I was gonna put any clay back in there. I was gonna run PVC for my client and then put a check valve in, which you guys would appreciate the fact of. So I'm trying to do it right, but where we've run into the snag is that the clay is good onto my customer's property where I could tie on and run into. But then I was told when I came and I got my inspection tag that, oh no, you gotta tie onto the main, which I was very blessed with the fact that you guys are having the meeting today, because I'm ready to do this and my clients are ready to move in. And so I only had to wait a few days to come in, so. Totally good with running the PVC from that point.
Yeah, so if I may again, our current, again, we have to go with what's in our current ordinance. Our current ordinance defines a house lateral as anything from the sewer main to the structure.
And
So,
that's what they brought up here.
yeah, and that's just how it is currently. So I'm not disagreeing with, your comments about it's a large cost, Chris. It's just, that is the way our current ordinance defines it, is the homeowner is responsible all the way from the sewer main to the structure. So,
But my question is, we've been able to deal with that on an individual basis.
yes, sir.
Are we legally able to do that on an individual basis or not? Without getting ourselves in a...
My recommendation is that if you are going to change that you have a consistent policy that's applied to equally treated people the same. And so my recommendation is if you're going to do it, that it be a change in the ordinance or the policy to, as we've discussed, you have a policy on in what circumstances the city would be responsible for that portion, or would take on that portion that's equally applied to everybody, as opposed to approving them one at a time, and having potentially treating people differently in terms of what we do.
Yeah, that's what my dilemma is right now, so...
One thought, Chris, is I would expect that if it is required by the city, that insurance would pick it up. That, typically a homeowner's policy would cover that cost as well. So I'm wondering if you went back to the insurance company and explained to them that the city is requiring this all the way to the pipe, and that this was additional cost that probably wasn't in the insurance company's original estimate either. But typically under the policy, that's something they would cover.
I did do that, and they said they would not pay it. So,
I've been asked to take a recess at this moment. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. 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 We're in recess for a moment. Be right back.
your timing is actually pretty good, because we've been talking about two dynamics here. One is, and for the people that have been around forever, like Tammy and me, this will resonate. When we initially did infrastructure improvement to our system, the idea was at that point to at least attempt to get off the combined system, and that couldn't happen because of the way we were set up, cost, and just a lot of dynamics that we couldn't control. So we initially did a phase where we started to do infrastructure improvement when we built our sewer plant. And the idea was to go through additional stages to effectively replace the clay tile and other imperfections in the delivery system. Well, that hasn't happened. And as you were talking, I was remembering, and we were remembering, so there was a property, a homeowner on Washington Street or Washington Avenue, I don't remember the address, and we agreed to a resolution where the city would take responsibility, or we would pay for the public, and just for ease for the non-construction guy in a room like me, that we have the public part and we have the private part. And the city would be responsible for the public part, and the property owner would be responsible for the private part. And we felt that was the right thing to do for a lot of reasons. We have talked about making an adjustment to the ordinance, the sewer use ordinance, that would incorporate that change. And so Mayor, I make this record for really three reasons. One, before I became city attorney, I appeared in a situation, and the Board of Works treated my sister differently than they treated a business owner locally. And I hung around after the meeting, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why we can do that. I did some research, and I found out you can't. And so the city hasn't done that since. They don't treat people differently. Secondly, one of the things we've discussed internally is how unfair it is in situations that don't apply in this instance. One, where you have a shared lateral, where you have a combined lateral that has multiple homeowners on the lateral. Secondly, where there is another intrusion into that line, either through a downspout or some other method, or where the property owner has done something to create problems on the public part. And in this instance, I'm assuming from what you've said, there are no shared laterals.
Correct.
I'm assuming there are no downspouts.
There are none.
Okay.
They're all
there's-
brand new. in the
Oh, I'm sorry, and then there are no sump pumps connected, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So in that scenario, and I don't remember the property address, but we approved something that I'm going to recommend, Mayor, that you consider here, and the board. Secondly, it's not the citizens of Boonville's responsibility to take ownership of infrastructure that's either really old or outdated in terms of quality. And, when we had the conversation about the Washington Street situation, we had that, I think that observation was made. And third, and probably most importantly, it doesn't make sense to have contractors, and I'm not talking about you, Chris, but contractors generally getting in and out of our system in a way that potentially creates other problems. So what I'm going to recommend you do, and then, Mayor, it's going to be my recommendation that we modify our sewer use ordinance to reflect this approach in this kind of situation. So you can take credit for it, but it's more the timing of this and consistency than anything. And so I'm going to recommend that the city be responsible for the public part of this, which is up to the line, that Mr. Combs be responsible, or the property owner be responsible for that, which is on the private side, and put a 6-inch in
Per our diagram.
per what we require, that it be PVC as you indicated. And then the city is going to take care of the public part of that. And my recommendation is because, for two simple reasons. One, because we've done this before, and regardless of the age, and I don't mean this to be insensitive, because I don't mean it that way.
if they were 35 years old, it wouldn't make a difference. It's the same thing. You got to be consistent, and the fact that they're their age, obviously accelerates the need to make sure that they're in their home. And then whatever is done would also be required to be inspected, I think, which is customarily required by the city. That's my recommendation from a legal standpoint, and I think that's consistent, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but the conversations that we've had leading up to today and trying to make our ordinance more reflective of what our system, of how our system exists.
So Mark, would we be looking at replacing the public side at the same time
Yes.
you're doing this?
Yes.
So we would be going in there?
Yes.
So if I may say, that's great, I appreciate that. We're highly trained professionals on putting in sewer and doing this and everything. In this instance, my team was ready to start and tie in the lateral. So at my cost, which is going to save the city a lot of money, on this one, I'm not interested in doing it anymore. But I would be happy to do that on a time material on the city, which will save you a small fortune, and dig down and do it and put it back together
So
on the
that's,
city side of it.
so that's what we did in the Washington Street. And so you've answered a question that we didn't know the answer to, because I think on Washington, and I may be wrong here, but I think on Washington, they were either ready to do work or had started to do the city side and.
They were in the road.
Yeah, okay, so they were in the
all the
road.
way in the road, in the 11 feet down.
That was all
So-
been done.
So I would amend my recommendation, because that's actually what we did in the Washington Street situation as well.
Well, there's a big difference between a farmer and a field.
Oh, no,
And
exactly.
And I mean that in no disrespectful way, but what I'm saying is that I will be able to save the city a lot of money with my team and my equipment, because I'm gonna be there anyway, because I'm gonna have to tie on from where you stop.
Right.
And in a matter of a few days, I'll have it done. And then we can put the asphalt back in, or whomever the city so chooses. I'm assuming Metzger does the asphalt work up here.
So I would defer to Clint on anything that I left out.
And Jill can jump in here as well. If the city agrees to do that, we've got a standard detail that we would need you to follow. You can get that from anyone here at City
Zero
Hall.
issue on my part on that.
So, and then also with the main being an old clay, our policy on that is we put high-max couplings on each side.
I
So
anticipated that, yeah.
Jill would be the point of contact for that. Jill knows what our typical approach is. So just coordinate with her. It would require an inspection as well, with it being a new tab, basically.
We do, everywhere we do, everything gets inspected,
Yep.
we do, so I have no issue with that.
And then my only other comment to Mark's point, by doing that, the city will want verification that there is no sump pump, downspouts, or any of that connected.
You
So
can
we
see them
will
all
want
right now, all
verification.
above
So,
ground.
yeah, understand. We just need verification.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I
Chris,
agree.
because so what we're going to do is we're going to have a form, that may be it, but a form that verifies, because part of the problem we've had is that there have been instances where people will make that recommendation, it's not accurate, we find out later that we have issues, and we're just going to try to address it in this fashion, so that we're consistent. So,
I don't have any problem with that, I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to make this a win-win.
Sure.
For my clients as well as the city, and I know that if we do it, I'm gonna sleep at night, and I know it's gonna be done right.
Good.
And we're gonna be a lot fairer than you going out and getting Blankenberger to come in there or whatever, and I don't mean any disrespect to Blankenberger, but some union contractor to come in there when we'll have this thing done in a few days.
Does he have to have paperwork and all that?
He has already came up and got his sewer
Okay.
the yellow tag.
I have that right here.
And now I've given him the specs for the sewer that you were talking about, so he, huh? Yeah, once we get to that part, we'll do a road cut permit, and then,
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about, sorry.
yeah, once he gets.
How much is that road cut permit?
50.
I'm just teasing.
$500.
I knew it wasn't much.
$500.
So who's paying for that, Charlie?
You,
Yeah. One more thing, so typically, in a city standpoint, when we do a T&M contract, we have a not to exceed price. So I would want some kind of number from you as well. And also, we will need a way of verifying time and
Do we
material. So
know-
typically,
do
we would
we-
have Veolia or someone out there to check on.
Whatever
time.
you want to
So
do, I don't care.
That's
That
just
way I
our
can get
typical
it done.
approach, so.
Do we know deep the main is right there?
It's a Jill question.
I do not, I'll have to look at it.
I don't know about the,
I believe it's a 12-inch main.
Well, what I'll do is I'll probably just camera the lateral tomorrow down. We'll just bring our camera up and go down and see what we got.
Agree.
And then that way.
manhole right in the back of the property.
Well, once I camera it, I can tell how deep it is and I have an idea. Do you know what size that main is?
I believe it's 12.
12? Okay.
I would probably ask for a motion on this variance of sewer use ordinance to be able to allow us to go ahead and do this if the board so chooses.
Okay, so I have no problem making that motion, but we'd be doing a separate one with a not to exceed on the T&M act, is that correct?
Yeah, what I would ask on that motion, I would put in there that Chris would need to get his estimate to Jill and I for review prior to allowing him to move forward with the T&M, because we do need to get an
I
independent
would
set of
think
eyes
so.
on that. So, yeah, we would just want to make sure we okay and we feel comfortable with those pricing.
Tammy, if you can encompass all that Mark said and what Clint added, I'll make that motion.
Chat GPT to the rescue.
Well, in a nutshell, you just need to approve what it is before we do it.
Yeah. Do you have your estimate already for your, okay.
I have a second.
I wasn't going to do anything on the city property without
No.
your permission. That's another reason I was here. I wasn't a camera or do any of that.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, the second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
I'll be in touch, and who do I need to call with the camera report and all that? Who do I need to get with?
Call my office.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
if I may, what I would recommend is everything go through Sarah. If you, Chris, if you want to get everything to Sarah, then she can get that distributed to Jill and I as
Sorry,
needed. So
stuck.
Okay.
that would be my recommendation.
And I would like to make an apology to the room. I am so sorry that you guys have all had to sit through this, so I feel
I would
terrible.
say yes.
We've been working on this for
Yeah.
about 2 years.
Well, good, I'm glad that we helped get something resolved
Yeah,
here.
like I said, we're slowly getting there.
Camera truck
Okay.
out there.
All right,
Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
Next on the agenda, I've got a request from Gene Carter. Gene?
Good afternoon. I'm Jean Carter, 988 Mountain Gully Road, out in the country. And I might add that I'm going to be easy, but I won't be cheap. I would like to ask if I can put a sign up for the walk on the 20th at that corner point down at McDonald's. I was told that I had to get approval from you to put a sign up down there announcing the walk, advertising it.
Are you wanting where they put the square flare? It's actually NDOT, and I believe they just put it up, like our events.
Where is that?
Down at the bottom of McDonald's Hill, it's where
At the
they
point.
put
The
the,
Pioneer.
Yeah.
Oh, at
Yeah,
the,
it's stuff.
going west.
Yeah.
There at the
Yeah.
bottom, yeah. I mean, that's
Um,
not our right of way, so you,
it is not,
Yeah.
you would need to contact, the NDOT district with Vincennes. Just call up there and ask. I don't know if they will require you to have anything, but at least if you call and ask, then you're gonna have to be okay.
Yeah.
But they're the only ones that can approve that.
And if I may, your contact would be Vince Gudorf. He's head of permits. It would technically be a permit, so ask for Vince Gudorf.
how do you spell that?
Yeah, spell that, Clint.
Gudorf is Gudorf. Yeah.
See, if that doesn't work, give me a call and we'll find a city property that you would be able to place it, but I don't think you'll have any trouble.
Well, I just meant to get the billboard changed out.
Same
and
thing, right?
Time goes by too fast, and I didn't get that done, so then I was told that that city had that. And then Jim just informed me that it is NDOT, so, and then I said, well, Square Flare always puts a sign up there, and they said, well, maybe she doesn't ask, she just puts it up. And I didn't want to do that, so as long as I get their permission, I'm good to go.
Yep.
Perfect. Now, the other question I have is, what about my route that we talked about, and I didn't get to come to your meeting? I went to the council meeting for approval to walk. The original path was going to come up Third, come around the square, and go back down Third.
To City Lake, right?
Yes, yes.
We've approved that route before.
We did. When is your walk?
A week from Saturday.
You would not be able to walk, I mean, you'd have to turn at Walnut on Third, because Third Street will be closed, so.
She was talking about
yeah.
going Walnut to Second, and I have to go back to Second.
Be kind of crazy there with bombs, but, you know, I don't know any other way that would be any better. And I'm trying to keep it minimum. I've mapped that out at about 2 miles, which is pretty easy. We should be done in an hour if I can get everybody to move along, but
Keep going.
yes. And I'd love for all of you to be there. So, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gene.
Have a good one.
Next on the agenda, Lisa Bradshaw.
She had to leave.
She had to leave, that's what I've been told. Parking ticket has been moved to next time we meet. Order to repair and/or demolish unsafe building and premises at 219 South 3rd Street. That is the next on the agenda. I'm gonna say,
Yes,
you're
sir.
up, sir.
Thank you. My name is Greg Freiberg. I'm an attorney in Evansville from Barber and Bauer LLP, and I represent a few clients who are citizens here and who own these two buildings. Excuse me. As you all know, on April 30th, there was a collapse of a neighboring building onto these two buildings, causing some severe damage, and then a subsequent collapse, I believe, which caused further damage. Since that time, my clients have been ousted from their businesses, lost their buildings, along with property that's been in those buildings, and as such, they came to discuss the matter with me. I've sent my contact information to all the parties involved. Mr. Phillips, we've had some conversations, but little has happened in the time since then. Until recently, I believe the insurer for the city has reached out, and as of 3 o'clock today, we have a list of engineers who will be inspecting the buildings on September 18th. The reason I've come before you today is because of what's on the agenda, the orders to repair and/or demolish. The first thing is, and I don't think anyone's brought up to the contrary, is that my clients in this, the owners of both of these other two buildings, did nothing to be in this situation. They had nothing to do with the other building's collapse. And because of the time it's taken to get the potential interested parties to the table, a little time has passed, obviously, since those things happened. I had not had, at the time of receiving this notice of demolition and removal, I had not had any meaningful conversations with a representative from the city's insurer. That has changed, and now we are, like I said, setting up that examination for the experts to come in. The reason that's important is we cannot move anything without potentially damaging evidence in the future. We obviously don't expect that there's going to be a need for evidence, but in hyper precaution as an attorney, we try to preserve the evidence until all the interested or potentially interested parties have a chance to come in and view the situation. Because that has now been set, we can move forward with plans for a demolition and or repair. That's another issue. We don't know about the Stoner's building, whether it all has to come down or whether there can be some measure of it repaired. A lot of that's going to depend on, obviously, the structural damage from the engineer is going to tell us. But I'll go back to my original point. The order that was sent to both of my clients that own those two buildings was that demolition and repair had to occur, or at least substantially occur, before September 26th. Go ahead, sir.
So really quick here, just to maybe shorten this up, if you guys are getting it inspected on the 13th, and we've already discussed moving our meeting on the 16th to, the, or I mean, I'm sorry, the 18th.
Yes.
And we've already discussed moving our meeting on the 16th to the 23rd. If this was tabled, would that be sufficient to get your people in there and talk about this on the 23rd?
The issue isn't necessarily the 18th having it. The reason I bring that up is because that's how long it's taken to get the experts involved of all the people who have a potential interest. My biggest problem is that there's a 30-day time table set forth in the order that says by September 26th, we need to be substantially moving forward, which we hope to be, but I'm sure you all appreciate the short timetable we have between the 18th and the 26th, because at that point, we have to determine who's going to demolish it, when it's going to be demolished, on their time schedule, et cetera. And facing potential fines, my request simply is this, that we can extend, that you all allow us to extend the deadline to October 26th, which may need more time after that, but my hope is with an additional 30 days, we can at least present to the board exactly what the plan is, the timetable to get it done, and how we propose to move forward.
I'll say that, the,
Hang on a minute.
okay.
Steve, you're muted.
You're muted.
Is it on our end
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? So in terms of the timetable, the 30 days is statutory, so the unsafe building law requires, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the unsafe building law requires that when you have a building that's in this type of condition, that the order requires that the work be completed within no later, that the statute says you have to give at least 10 days and not more than 30 days, but you can extend it to 60 days as long as a substantial beginning of the work begins within the 30-day period. So that's why the order gave that timeline. And it basically was tracking the statute in terms of how much time that you have. So I think I'm not opposed to, if certainly it's up to the Board of Works. I think the key is it can't just sit, and this has to be addressed because of and I understand their insurance is going to work through this and figure out how the costs can be dealt with and everything. I completely appreciate that and respect that. But what I think nothing was happening on it, and it needs to be addressed. And so I certainly think it's reasonable to come back and do a status update, but the statute does require that it's the most we're supposed to be able to give is 60 days, and it's the substantial beginning of the work within 30 days. So that's why it tracked that language.
Yeah. And I completely understand tracking the language of the statute, and I will, as a matter of fact, I would submit to you that the demolition of one of the buildings has substantially started. And so, for what that's worth. But I would ask that you extend to 60 days.
So let me add something to this, Steve. So with what Greg talked about with the drone activity and the insurance adjusters doing their due diligence, can that arguably trigger the substantial effort timeline beginning? And then my second question is, if that's set to begin on September 18th, is it 60 days from the date of the notice, or can it be 30 days or 30 additional days from the 18th? I mean, could we use that as a starting point and extend it? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the board certainly has discretion to table this and really what you get into is the board's discretion to, in terms of having the authority to issue fines if it's not completed within the time frame. Or secondly, for the board to go in and actually the city go, one of the things about the unsafe building statute is if the work's not completed within the time frame, it gives the city the ability, as we've done in the past, to go in and do the work themselves and lien the property for it to help make sure it gets addressed. So I think it's more of a discretion in terms of the city's exercise of its enforcement authority. It does say marked in the statute 30 days from the date that the order, 10 days, 30 days, 60 days. So I think practically we can get to the same point by tabling it here, giving them the time to do this. I think you could, maybe they could make an argument that they've done the substantial beginning within the 30 days if they have an engineer that's coming in and designing it. I will say this, there's a little difference in the orders. The order for 217 says it has to be demolished. And I think the 3I design engineering language, their view was it has to be demolished. And I don't know if there's a dispute or if there's because I heard that there's the possibility that it could be repaired. My understanding was it can't be, it's beyond repair. It needs to be demolished. And so the order for 217 says demolish. The order for 219 says demolish or repair. Have an engineer come in and see if it can basically be salvaged and repaired, and then it needs to be repaired, and if not, it needs to be demolished. And so I don't know if you guys have a view on that, on 217. Is it Greg? Did you say your name was Greg?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know if you have a view or if you guys have, what your engineers are telling you. I think I heard you say repair at one point, and then I think I heard you say 217 for all intents and purposes is already being demolished.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the Stoner's building is the one that has I think, a potential. From the people I've spoken to, it's unlikely that any repair will be cost efficient, at least. Anything can be repaired, but it's just not going to be cost efficient. Obviously, the sassafras building in the middle there is already demolished.
So here's what I'd rather see happen. I would rather that the city not table it. And I would rather see the board consider adopting the findings in the order and then staying that order pending further evaluation. Because I think as a practical matter, it really becomes how do we get where we need to go, as opposed to pointing the finger at responsibility. And I would rather have the board adopt the order and the findings, because Steve, and I was looking at this earlier, I sent you a message on page, on the top of page 3, Greg, and you probably don't have the order and findings. Yeah, you don't have what we're looking at.
Okay, no, I don't.
It's the form, yeah, but it says October 22nd instead of October 26th. So if it's 60 days from August 26th, and maybe that's October 22nd, I don't know. But I would rather see that you consider adopting and then just staying the operation of that, of the operation of those orders, pending further input and information from, Greg or whoever else, the city's adjuster, whoever it is.
And I'd be happy to come back and keep everybody up to date on what the progress is, what the plans are, the timeline, and that type of thing. It's not a situation where the building's going to sit there for 20 years. We're in the works of figuring this
But
out.
I think that protects the city from a liability standpoint more readily than simply tabling this, because I don't think the city has an option here. From what I understand.
Mark, what I might suggest then is, because what the order is, what the findings do is affirm the order,
Right.
essentially, Greg.
Right.
And said, yep, these buildings are in district, and 217 needs to be demolished, and 219 either needs to be repaired or demolished. And it sets the timelines, and then Mark, what I think we do is approve it and stay the penalty provision. Because what it does is it provides that, which is consistent with the city's unsafe building ordinance. If the work's not completed within the timeframes of the order, then it imposes a penalty of up to $250 for the first day, $350 for the second day, and $500 for each third and subsequent day. So what we can do is, adopt the findings, but suspend the penalty provisions until further determination from the board.
Because what I don't want to do is, as this time runs, you can always address the accrual of penalties or the fine, the penalty provision, but the statutory timeframe to have something done is pretty firm. And so.
So my request would be to extend that to the 60 days if possible.
You got it.
Yeah.
And then by doing that, I think you also have a basis to suspend or stay, whatever the language needs to be, subject to receiving additional information. And then, as Greg updates you or our adjuster updates us, or whoever updates who, you at least have an understanding of where the carriers are headed, all with the understanding of what the dictates are statutorily for either remediation or demolition. And that way, everybody's on the same page, if that makes sense. And it doesn't interfere, let me just say this, Greg's done a nice job with coordinating communication. There's a lot of people, and a lot of lawyers, and a lot of engineers, and a lot of adjusters, and so what he said is true. That's probably as quick as you could have gotten all the relevant people together to be able to get that information and get access to the visual part of it that you can't see from the street. That's my recommendation to you all.
So that would be, Mark, approving the orders. I think what you would be doing would be extending the date on 2/17 to October 22nd or 26th, whichever date it is.
Let's err on the side of 26.
Okay, so extending the date, and because that date is already in the 2/19 order, so that would be the adjustment to the 2/17 order, and then approve it, but suspend the penalty provision until further order of the board.
That's what I agree with them.
Do you have something else, sir?
Yeah, just one other thing that I believe the owners of Sassafras were not served until September 2nd. There may be some different dates on here, but for practical purposes, the additional time should take care of itself.
That won't be a reason why.
Right.
City's not gonna, the day, the next day move in and default. That's not the idea.
Understood.
On any level. And frankly, because you're involved, I don't know that we could even do that. We'd have to give you notice. I don't see that being an issue.
So Greg, can you come back or have the engineer, whatever, come back and make sure they update the Board of Works at the, what's like it's gonna be the September, what did you say, the 22nd or the
23rd.
23rd?
Yep.
And even if they get those reports sooner and you can send them to Clint, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll share anything that we get, obviously,
Well,
with you.
yeah, and that was just the other thought. It might be helpful, Greg, for you to acknowledge that you have no objection to Clint or a city representative getting information from you.
Yes, yeah. Anyone from the city is
And
welcome.
vice versa.
Yeah, is
Okay.
welcome to call me at any time. And I'll tell you what I can at the time, obviously, but, because I have clients to represent, but I think if we all work together, this thing is done faster.
Yeah, if,
Sarah, I'm the one they're gonna send, we tell you to send everything to, so.
Send it to Sarah.
Yeah, I'm the one working with Andrew from our engineering.
Okay, great.
So I'll be at the meeting and I'm the one getting all the names, so.
Perfect.
If you need anything, holler.
All right. Thank you all very
Thanks,
much.
Greg, good seeing you.
Greg, send me an email too, so I have your contact.
So,
Hang on, he was saying something.
Sorry.
say
Go
that
ahead,
again, Steve?
Greg, send me an email so I have your contact info, if you don't mind.
Yep, we'll do.
Steve,
If you would.
I'll forward you what we've gotten so you're added.
Yep.
I'll forward it.
All right, thank
I'll
you.
forward the one from today.
Thank you.
Hang on, Greg.
Yeah.
So I think the board needs to entertain a motion to adopt the findings and order consistent with the notice that Jeff sent, that the owners have acknowledged receiving and adopting those findings and issuing that order as of today. I'm sorry, as of September 26th, and then moving to stay the accumulation of fines and penalties and the enforcement of that order to October 26th of 2025, subject to further order of this board. Does that sound right, Steve?
Yep.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Can you repeat it?
I'll make that motion.
Tammy's got it, Tammy's got it.
I'll second.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
So they need to sign this.
Thanks, Greg.
Now, do we do, is that, no, we,
They need to sign it. The board needs to sign this.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Wow, you're taking the whole crowd.
Taking everybody with
See you
All
guys.
right.
come back. All right, next on the agenda, price quotes from Veolia for a new dump truck. Daryl?
I got it.
Or Jill, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, I can
Because
do
he
it.
handed it to me.
Yeah. So the 1-ton dump truck that Tammy and I decided that was purchased when the city had some extra money has come to an end. It is on its deathbed. We have put out price quotes from John Jones for a Chevy and John Jones for the Dodge. And then we've got another price from Community Ford. They're all stainless steel beds. They're all the same type of truck. So we have, our recommendation is to go with the John Jones, the 2026 Chevy 3500 HD work truck. And it's got the stainless steel bed with the fixed side beds. That will give us
Say it
some,
again.
That one right there.
the recommendation.
No,
The
first
recommendation. It's at the bottom where it says
Oh, okay.
recommendations. Yeah. That's the one that Veolia would recommend for the city to purchase.
Do we have to do both these? Or do you think that?
Yeah, no, you have to do both of them because they're separate addresses.
Okay, so the first one we did was 219.
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Take care of this, go ahead. So we've got a recommendation for the Chevy. What's
Yes,
the
sir.
board's pleasure?
Will this be coming out of water, Tammy, or?
Probably.
Water.
Yeah, Public Works, I mean, we use it for all three.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're good?
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Okay. I'll make the motion to approve the recommendation for the 2026 Chevy 3500 for $63,291.
Got a motion and second, all in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Going back to, you approved the order to repair at 219 South Third. We also need to have a motion, the same motion I think that Mark made before, for you to consider
Yes.
to repair and/or demolish unsafe building at 217 South Third Street.
Motion.
I got a motion and second, all in favor of that motion and second signify by
Cheater.
saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Next on the agenda, Strafer pump quote for Shawnee Lift Station
I can
base
take that one as
replacement, $15,292. Is that you, Jill? Okay.
So, the bases and guide rails in that particular station are wore out, so K&M is having to come out every 2 weeks and reinstall the gaskets in the bottom of that to hold it so that it's not blowing out the sides and making it work properly. So if they can come in and replace the bases and the guide rails, it will all be new and tight, and they won't have to come in on a more regular basis and change the gaskets on the bottom of the pumps. It'll keep the pumps working longer and in better shape.
Say they're currently coming in every 2 weeks?
Yes. Yeah, no. They are doing some other work, but they are coming in to do that one every
When
year.
was that pump last replaced, Joe?
I'd have to look
Are
at
those the
it.
Myers pumps?
They are Myers, and
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
yes, and that guide rail and system is Myers, yes. They are putting in a 2-rail system versus what this is the 1-rail fiberglass. They're gonna change that to the 2-rail, which is more efficient.
I'll make a motion to approve the Strafer pump for $15,292.
Second that.
I got a motion and second, all in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Next, pay application number 1 from J.H. Rudolph and Company, $171,208.05. Clint?
Yeah, so that's primarily for curb ramp, storm retaining wall work on our community crossings project. The project is behind schedule. Sarah and I have voiced our frustration with the contractor. They should be moving in for milling and paving here in the next week or so. So I would expect to see some activity there. There's still some ongoing curb ramp work. Autumn Drive is, I think, close to wrapped up. So we're moving along. So you'll see some paving activity here shortly. But I have reviewed that, and I would recommend payment in that amount there.
As soon as they start, it'll start raining.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes, Chuck.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve pay app number 1 for Rudolph and Company of $171,208.05.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
An update real quick, if I may, too, Mayor. Part of Rudolph's work is going to be finishing up Forest Avenue as well, so just wanted the board to know that. So we'll be meeting with them on Friday. That is a change order that we brought into their contract. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Unless somebody's added something else to me, we've still got taps and adjustments to deal with. Let me see here. I got 6 adjustments here. Hang on your hat. Okay.
Run, Tammy, run.
Clover Bates, 1111 North 2nd Street, Apartment A, meter failed, $982.80.
Yeah, that's the second month, all right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Stephanie Roshai, 514 East North Street. High bills for several months, checked the entire house for leaks. None found, dug up water line. $147.23 is what she's asking.
Assuming the leak was in the water line. Is the water line leaking?
Assuming a leak was in that water line.
Okay.
So the water leak stopped.
Okay, so it did stop. Yeah, well, that's what I was asking. It says assuming leak was in the water line. Okay. Make a motion to approve. Second.
We got a motion second. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Robert D. Scott, 155 West.
You took care of
We
that.
just took care of that.
That's done.
So, we tabled it, so we need to, we've already approved it.
No,
didn't
you
we?
approved it earlier.
Okay. So we've already, he needs to sign it. All right, Tyler Neff, equipment failure, need to adjust water and sewer, 109 South 2nd Street. Meter failed.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. It was $325. So, thank you. Sean Neer, 419 South 3rd Street. Water leak on Holmes main line, new main line installed, $272.21.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Homes by Huffman, 401 South 5th Street, Heaven Ellis, $9,300.38. Come to find out, equipment failed. It was originally 67, 70, 97, and it ended up going to 9,338. Questions or comments?
So, we need to leave from that side. Nice. Okay, I think that's what we was waiting on last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's my thought. Okay, make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and second to approve. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next is clerical adjustments.
Make a motion to approve all properly documented clerical adjustments.
So I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. We got water taps here. Mattingly Homes and Development, 4498 Fairway View Drive, $1,650. This is for water, it says.
That's gonna be the sprinkler.
Sprinkler, okay.
Make a motion to
I
approve.
see it. And a $100 inspection fee.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Okay, next we got same, I guess same one. This is residential. It's a $100 inspection fee.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Chris Combs, Ralph West at 1316 Stratford Drive. A $100 inspection fee for his existing tap for water service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Mark Schmidt, 1150 Stonehaven Circle, $1,150 water application fee and a $100 inspection fee.
I only have $100 fee.
Oh,
Tammy probably didn't know, wait until.
okay.
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 Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Sewer applications, Mattingly Homes, 4498 Fairway Drive, $200 inspection fee.
That one will have to be approved by Clint. That's the one that they're building on the peninsula. Clint and I have spoken to Mr. Mattingly about that one.
Yeah, you sent me that. I have not had a chance to look at that yet.
He
On the
hasn't sent to me.
peninsula.
Yep, he's
Yep.
building the home on a peninsula out in
Oh, in
Victoria.
Victoria.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to table that then?
I would say yes.
I would
Yeah.
say yes then.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
We got a motion, second, to table this application. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. See, Chris Combs, again, this is 1316. I think we've already taken care of this. 200 existing tap inspection.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Again, that was for sewer service. There you go. Mark Schmidt, 1150 Stonehaven Circle, $2,000 sewer tap, $100 inspection fee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next, we got pool fill affidavit. Really, it was done twice. I guess they'd messed the liner up on the thing, so it's $323.57. And that is for 709 Parkview Drive. Charles Britt.
Is it allowed for twice?
Twice, we are allowed twice, or a liner.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, ayes have it. We've got one contract, for Christy Swayze, $826.08. She's wanting to divide that over 12 months, $68.84.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of that motion, second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Is there anybody else that's got anything that needs to come before the Board of Works before we do the claims? Anybody, anything else that needs to come before the Board of Works? If not, looking to pay the claims.
Make a motion to approve all properly documented claims.
Second that.
I got a motion second to approve all properly and documented claims. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Now, I think we've got everything done.
You ready to go to Paducah?
No, I got
You
city
want
council
to, you
meeting.
want to stay here a while or you want to leave?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
I got a motion second to adjourn. All in favor of that motion
I
second
forgot you.
signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. We are in adjournment. All right, I'm calling to order the Boonville City Council. I'm gonna ask Tammy Borough to do roll call, please.
Chad Pryor.
Here.
Sean Russell.
Here.
Jim Miller.
Here.
Sherry Severs. Here. Mike Webb.
Here.
Mayor Charles Wyatt.
Here.
Attorney Mark Phillips.
Here.
We also have our city engineer Clint Bruce.
Yay. We want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded, and your participation in this meeting is your consent to be recorded and rebroadcast on the city's YouTube channel. At this time, those that'd like to join with me to the Pledge of Allegiance, please do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda is approval of previous minutes from August the 5th, 2025. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from August 5th, 2025.
Second.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. I'm going to forego my mayor's update other than the fact that we had a great park dedication, good shovel breaking, and a great Labor Day weekend for the city here in Boonville. Citizens' concerns. Anybody that's not on the agenda?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah.
You're not on the agenda, sir. You are on the agenda now?
But you
No,
need to-
yes, you
Yeah,
are.
I put it back on.
Okay,
Yeah, but your turn. It's your turn.
your turn.
Okay.
Get ahead of Richard, that's all we.
Here's,
Richard's just watching.
I know I'm messing with you, bud, you know that.
Hello, my name is Charles Bennett. I live at 409 North 9th Street, Unit 101. My request is, you seen the paper I passed out for a speed limit sign on 9th Street? Because I have deeply concerns about people getting hit. And there is a blind side when you're backing out of the parking lot or the parking space. That's my request, and I wish you would make a motion to accept this from one of the council.
What did we do? Was that the Board of Works?
so the Board of Works,
Yeah.
at the last meeting, told Brandon he needs to get over one of those temporary speed limit signs, which I don't think he has yet, has he?
No.
Okay, so we need.
And can I say something on that?
Sure.
Sure.
The property manager, Troy, he
Lexer.
approved to use some of the property to put that radar
Okay.
speed limit.
Okay, well, we will remind him. But then the board was recommended it come to the city council for you guys to see what you wanted to do with it. They had no problem with it, but
Yeah.
they felt like,
Don't we have to
Council
change
needs to-
the speed limit ordinance?
You do.
Yeah. So that's,
I do have concern
Can we
because
do that
there's
one?
children
so,
and toddlers across the street
so if you're
at
gonna,
the townhomes.
yeah, so if you're gonna put
Over the-
a speed limit sign, are we gonna collect data
55 and
first
older.
to make sure that, I mean, we just don't.
well, that was what
arbitrarily-
Oh, out on,
that sign was supposed to be doing, but it hasn't been put there yet.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Before-
with the area, the location that he's requesting, it is our 55 and older new apartment complex.
Yeah.
We also have those townhomes, so it is two very large buildings face each other basically on that street. And they all have to back out of their parking spots onto the street to leave. So that's why he's asking for the 20 is to slow people down so the visibility and for backing out and walking.
Can
I
I
just
make a comment on that?
apologize.
Can I make a comment on that?
Go ahead.
Okay, Skills Lake, they travel that road to get there on 9th Street. That's another reason. You got people walking their dogs, exercising. So it is a concern.
We've got not just the one on wheels, but we've got two portable units too that you can put on a post. You know, and that's what I thought was supposed to happen. I apologize to you for that because I thought it was going to happen. And then we were just gathering information. That's all that those signs were doing. They would do the, whatever the speed limit is. We weren't changing the speed limit, but we were just making people aware that what the speed limit was. And then the council, this group here, if you guys wanted to change the speed limit, then that's up to you. We were trying to get 30-day, or 2-week jump on it, and apparently it didn't happen. Sorry.
I'd like to come.
Go ahead.
Mike?
We added the stop sign at Flint and Goff because of the increased traffic flow. Before adding that stop sign, I mean, I'm up and down through there. There's a lot of added residents in one populated area. I think if anybody justifies a lesser speed limit, it's that. I mean, I personally don't need data to know that that's the right thing to do for me, but that's where I'm at.
Well, it would also, it would flash, and that would make them aware. That was my big thing, but the secondary, it would also gather information. So we'll, I mean, I know I can do the temporaries, but the council, they've got to address the rest of it.
Mark, I think, has a comment.
No, the only thing I would say, I mean, I don't know how you could ever be opposed to slowing down, and we have people. The only observation I would make is we have typically been very hesitant to do spot speed limit changing, manipulation, whatever, whatever term, and this has nothing to do with the merits of this. I would only suggest that you be aware of, this might open the floodgates of people wanting you to reduce speed limits in areas where they live.
And
And
they would have to have the viable reasoning to bring to the board to have that, right? We could do it on an as-need basis.
you could theoretically, but it might make sense, and I'm just saying for future reference, I'm not talking about necessarily this one, that you do what you have done, and that's put those portables in, figure out what, information that would give you a justifiable basis to do it. I mean, it's always within your discretion. It sounds like you've done that, and it sounds like this is a legitimate. But I just say we've always hesitated to avoid having, just a groundswell of people wanting to reduce speed limits in areas where they live.
And that's my reasoning behind the data. So that if somebody else comes in here and it's not necessarily a good area, you say, well, what's your data? And then the second point is, anytime we do this, is it doesn't matter how slow we make it if we don't enforce it. Then
Agreed with that.
So,
Donna, will you make sure that's on the list and get back with me about the temporary signs, please? Thank you, so we don't drop that again.
So, can I ask another question?
Right ahead, sir.
I gathered that you'd already put the temporaries out there.
They were supposed
they were
to.
Oh, they haven't done any of that?
They thought they had been. but
Oh, I got
We
you.
found out today from Daryl that they're in the garage and he hasn't gotten them to the police. So we have not put them out yet.
So nothing's been done?
Correct.
Right.
I got you.
That's why I was apologizing to that gentleman.
I misunderstood. I misunderstood.
We will try to do better, sir.
Okay.
On the temporaries now.
I'm texting Chief right now, so hopefully we'll get those put up tomorrow or the next day.
Well, I'm not recommending you deny this. I just make that observation because we have had
I
instances.
would make a motion to direct legal to go ahead and draft the ordinance, and that way it's
I can do
ready to
that.
go, and then we can get, that's what I would do. Then we can get it kickstarted.
Can I ask, so this doesn't tell me where you want it. So you would, I just need to know,
Between Golf and Park Lane on North 9th. Correct?
Between
Taylor and Chestnut.
Just
Well,
do
that's
all of
one
North
block.
9th. I don't know that
Yeah.
we have a South 9th.
Yeah, you know,
Just do the
just
entire
maybe
North
just a little past
9th Street
towards
at 20
Poplar.
miles an hour.
but between where?
Taylor,
Park Lane. And Park Lane.
And Chestnut.
Park Lane. Park Lane goes all the way to
Yeah.
the end of
Yeah,
it.
Park
Yeah.
Lane.
Just make it the whole street.
yeah, you gotta go all the way to Poplar, not Park Lane.
Right.
Park Lane runs the same
So-
direction.
Same direction, yeah.
You're going Taylor to Poplar.
So North 9th Street between Taylor, or from Taylor to Poplar. Is that right?
Yeah, that'll encompass the new in the townhouses.
Why wouldn't you just go the whole road?
I think that basically is. I don't know how much is left.
A block, so to Poplar to,
Golf.
yeah, because
Golf.
Poplar is the end of it, right?
Yeah. Poplar.
So,
Golf to.
I'm so bad on
Yeah.
street names. So go where, Chad?
Golf to Poplar.
Yeah,
So from Goff to Poplar.
yeah. Because golf's the block up from Taylor, right? So then that, yes.
Or start,
Thanks, guys.
But then we can put Mr. Lacer, he's volunteered a
He
spot
will let you
on
put it
his
on the
ground.
property if need be.
What do we have to do that? We have to get a right of entry or
no,
something?
not really.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I would do this, to sort of make this easy. So if you want to approve the 20 mile per hour reduction from Goff to Poplar, contingent on preparing an ordinance, you can do that. If you want to require data retrieval through the temporaries to the extent they retrieve that, you can do that too. But it would make sense for you to, do whatever you're going to do, be consistent in what you require.
But
So,
you can't, you won't be able to do, suspend it, because it'll have penalties, I'm sure, or it
Well-
should. So it'll have to go to the next meeting anyway.
The
But there's a
penalties
penalty.
already exist
Yeah.
Okay.
statutorily.
Yeah, that's, because we had that
Yeah.
same situation.
Okay,
there.
I just wanted to
no.
make sure.
Yeah, no, I think you're
We
good
could
there.
suspend it, yeah.
So that would be my suggestion. Because the other question I have and the other concern I have is, given what has been represented and what several of you seem to acknowledge, if there's a safety issue and we don't address it, then that creates some liability issues for us. So I think whatever motion you need to make it, and then we'll move forward accordingly.
So that motion, my motion stays the same, that the direct legal will go ahead and draft the ordinance. And then that way we can have it for next meeting.
Meanwhile, put the.
Meanwhile, put the, yeah, 'cause I think requiring the data, in the future is
So they're just
necessary. So-
having you draft it, and then they'll address it.
Oh, and that's fine, but the motion is to have me draft this, but in the interim, put the temporary
Correct.
stationary devices out,
That would sign, yeah.
or speed limit signs.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that.
I did.
I got a motion, I got a second. All in favor of that motion, second signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
One question. You're going to do 4th Street repaving. When are you going to start grinding?
So it should be coming up here in the next week or so.
Okay, so I can tell everybody to be aware of it.
Correct.
Thank you.
They should be bringing signs down before they come down and mobilize, so you will know exactly when they are coming.
Okay.
Because all the cars will have to be moved off the streets or out of the way,
Okay, yeah.
so.
Your own private property when they're
Perfect.
parking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you. Council concerns, start with Mr. Webb.
No.
Sherry?
Just one concern, and I spoke with the mayor about it, but I do want to follow up for the people that are listening. There was concerns about the trees that were planted over at City Lake, some of them being dead. And just for the record, my understanding is we'll hold the retention until all of that is taken care of. But for the record, could you state exactly what's being done there?
Happy to. So, yeah, what happened, so those trees were brought on site by our contractor in that real heat wave that we had. They let them sit out. I was pretty frustrated. They let them sit outside for 2 days before planting them. So that's why they look the way they do. But yes, so once we reach substantial completion, which we actually, last week, we had Pete Andrea with REA and Roy Main in my office did a walkthrough. So we're putting the punch list together. Once those punch list items are addressed, that'll be our substantial completion date, and then we'll have a year warranty from that date. So, yeah, so they will address those. So what we've talked about with them is they'll come back in the spring and most likely assess them at that time, and if they are deemed to be dead, they will be replaced at that time.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, they don't look good. So,
They were planting flowers or plants out there the day after we had the dedication, but I'm thinking that's kind of, the horse is already out of the barn, so.
Yes, we didn't use
happy,
Robin?
so.
We didn't use Robin's
No, they had
nest for
someone else,
flowers?
they had someone else's there.
No, they had
Lesson
another
learned.
nursery in.
Exactly, yeah.
Lesson learned.
Lesson
learned, yeah.
Chad Pryor?
First of all, hats off to everybody for the City Lake. That looked awesome.
It's beautiful.
Sorry I couldn't make it. Second, I think the Labor Day deal went better than the fair from just my observation.
Well, it was very well, it went very well.
I think Mike Dennis was involved with the
He's
fireworks.
the president.
I got to see that, and that was pretty good, so I was impressed. Two concerns I have was, I caught the end of the Stoners building.
Yeah.
What's going on there, and put it in my terms, I don't understand all of that.
So the statute requires us to notify them that you have to make the improvements within a certain period of time, or fines begin to accrue once you're served. And then, once that 30-day period, within that 30-day period, you've got to start making substantial remediation efforts, either repair or demolition. The council, or the Board of Works, rather, the city, can extend for an additional 30 days if that's the case. The holdup has been getting all the engineers and adjusters for their various insurance companies on the same page, literally, and that's occurred. And they're going to drone, which is sort of a cool idea, but because of how unstable those properties, those buildings are, they're going to drone the entire area, both in and out, for preservation purposes, and that's really when Greg talked about evidence. And then it's my belief that they will in very short order have a demolition, most likely a demolition strategy, and it largely is who pays for it. I mean, that's really the issue.
The reason I'm asking is I'm hearing that.
Can you, I'm sorry, we can't hear you in the back, sorry, today, but.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I'm hearing that the owners are gonna be required to pay for that, to have their buildings tore down.
No, this is all insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, the issue is Oakland, or Eigner Construction's carrier is carrying the water on this.
Right.
And part of the problem has been, this is my view, is the value of contents, more for Stoners than it is for Scheller's building.
Right.
And then, and this has nothing to do with the demolition part of it, but then the valuation of lost revenue and, all that kind of stuff. And so that's secondary to the droning. Everybody had to agree that they were going to approach it in one uniform fashion. And, if you've ever dealt with insurance companies, one's tough and three's tougher, right? Actually, four.
Yeah.
You have each individual building, the city, five, the city, and then Eigner Construction. And to Jordan's credit, he's been really,
He's stand up. He's
yeah,
a
I mean,
stand-up guy.
I don't know what else he could have done. In fact, he's been sort of an example of how to handle the situation the right way. Part of the problem was, without being critical of individuals, there was not a uniform desire to move in the same direction initially. And I think Greg Freiberger, to his credit, has been very helpful in getting those two property owners on the same page. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter to what extent, and then most likely a leveling of both of those buildings. So in layperson's terms, what the Board of Works did tonight was set that process in motion formally, but stayed the accumulation of fines and penalties subject to performance. And my sense of it is, if they continue to communicate like they are, and the engineers and the drone reconnaissance occurs on the 18th, they won't have a problem making substantial efforts to get the demolition done.
Okay. Second thing was, I asked about the railroad tracks last meeting, and you said he was gonna meet with somebody in 2 weeks.
We have, we did with HWC, they were setting a meeting up with the railroad people for us. That hasn't happened. Yeah, they kind of jumped in there and they even took the leadership on the thing and said, we think that we can, that, and I think Robin Winston also, our grant writer. But I haven't heard anything for a couple weeks. Like I said, we were dealing with the pool and the park, so, but I'll see where everybody's at. I just don't want them to come in and do like what they did before, is come in here and shut everything down and not tell anybody anything that happens.
Yeah.
And we've got our police and our fire, you know, if something happens, that's the only thing that I want to make sure.
I mean, it's literally
Doesn't
tearing
happen.
people's cars up.
Do what?
It's literally tearing people's cars up every day.
The one that, now I had Heather, she did a little survey too, but the one that I thought the worst one was out here on 62 here.
Yeah, that's where I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. The rest of them, I had some people complain about Baker Road, but I drove that one, I'm going,
Did we get in with the state on the 62 one? Has anybody reached out to their railroad department on the one that crosses the highway?
I've slept since then, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just did that one.
Yeah,
They did fix this one over here.
Yeah.
they did,
Just
I
recently.
spilled a coffee on that one.
yeah.
Well, it's
I'll see what I can
But
do.
they just fixed their
Chad.
approaches on that, you know, I mean, the railroad track is what needs
Yeah, because
attention.
the railroad track, that'll be in,
Yeah.
we won't have any say, so we
Yeah.
don't even have, we don't even have a right way or anything, so.
But we can protest, I think that was, but there was a whole group of them in the state of Indiana, and that's what they were hammering on the railroad. So that's why we joined in on with that group. And HWC, Rachel Steckler, she was helping me on that, so I'll see if I can follow up on it.
Okay.
Promise.
That's all I got.
Sean?
None at this time.
Mr. Miller?
Just one, well, two. Number one, I attended a conference on trails, which led me to another conference that Heather's going to go to at Spring Mill. And once all that is done, then I'll get with her and I'll have a formal report. REA was at the meeting that I went to, and I had a lengthy conversation with them after the meeting. And I know that's one of the next things they're going to start looking at once we, get the pool and everything out of the way. That's a real positive thing. The other thing was, I brought this up quite a while back, and I thought we were going to do something, and then we didn't. So remember the tree that fell on Quail? It fell during the ice storm. It fell on the duplexes. And we established that was, just by state statute anyway, if it's not dead or dying, then that's the homeowner's responsibility. However, there was a large part of that tree that was still on our property that the company that removed the tree took and cost probably an extra $400 or $500 to the homeowners. And I didn't know if there was something that we could do just to help them recoup that part, because that was the only part that was still on our property, but the tree company removed it. And I called the tree company and said, well, how much extra was it to remove that? Because it was a big part of the trunk. And he said it was probably $400 to $500 additional that it cost them. And their total cost was over $17,000.
Who paid it?
The insurance paid, I think they told me $5,000 to $6,000, and the rest of it came out of their pocket.
I mean, who are the people?
I think it was S&S.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
The property owner.
Oh, I have to go back and look it up. I can look it up while we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to make a claim and a third party remove something for our benefit on our property and they build them, we can reimburse them.
Because I just, you don't want to set a precedent and say, yes, we're going to pay for this, but it was on our property, and they removed it, then I thought maybe we could, help them out a little bit.
I remember this coming from the Board of Works. I don't think we ever had an actual bill though, did we?
I don't remember.
I don't think we ever approved anything, is what I remember.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. If I understand, it was on our property, and they removed it from our property, and they billed the homeowner whose responsibility it was not, you can approve a reimbursement to them for that amount.
Okay. I'll find out that information and bring it to the next meeting.
Yeah.
we do have someone out at Quail that we've agreed, the Board of Works agreed to do some work on, and I can't get them to sign a right of entry. They won't sign the right of entry for us to come on their property and
You
split.
won't sign it? Why?
She didn't like the liability statement we have on there, which is the same for every resident.
Then I guess we won't fix it.
Well, that was our,
Miss Follett out there at Quail.
that was our stand. I mean, we tried numerous times to get her, so if you hear, it's Clint's been her best friend out there.
So what needs fixed? What needs fixed?
So the storm sewers failed, so what we offered to do is put an erosion control mat and kind of stabilize it, because what happens, the storm sewers failed, so it kind of ponds and it overtops and goes down between her house and the tree line.
She come here, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she's been here a couple meetings, yeah. So we've proposed making those improvements to address that, but she won't sign the right of it, so.
So same right of entry we used all on Third Street, every place, all every place. Okay.
May I backtrack a moment?
Yes, Sarah.
Everyone, I sent Brandon, Chief Wells, a message regarding the speed signs for North Ninth that we were talking about.
Yeah.
He said Veolia has to set posts for those signs that the temporary ones. Right now, they have attached with a hose clamp, but officers have been running radar in that area. Brandon suggests speed limit be reduced to 20 miles an hour because it is congested. So,
Well, we'll deal with getting a post over there, a couple posts and.
oh yeah, I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
council will need the ordinance. So just wanted to give you that, so for next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thomas and Shirley Holland.
Yeah, if they can get something that verifies that amount, the city, that would not be an objectionable request.
Moving on, old business, anybody got any old business needs to be brought forth? If not, move on to new business. Request for VFW parking, who's got that one?
I mean, I can talk about it. Let me wrap myself back around. Thanks.
Just told me to put on the agenda.
I know I did. VFW reached out to Heather. What they're asking is the VFW Boulevard is having issues because people are parking on that road. And it truly is a city street. VFW Boulevard is a real place. But in order to stop the parking on the sides of it, the council needs to make an ordinance that says there is no parking on either side of the VFW Boulevard, just like we have on the other streets, and it goes into the table.
Well, won't that wipe out their parking on the north side of their lot?
They can't know if it's if they're parking in the road part, then yes, but they have all those other parking spots.
Well,
So
this is
Can I
it,
help?
and that's VFW going back to Wilder's old house. Are they talking about
Yep,
these?
no, not the parking, just the road part.
So, can I
Your
help circumvent this?
There's actually
They,
parking spots there.
they need to decide, you all need to decide how many feet you want to go from that road. So it would be on the south side of VFW Boulevard for X number of feet. Otherwise, to somebody's point, you will wipe out their parking lot if it's not written out.
No, I got you.
So
But
whatever that footage is, decide what that footage is and they'll put that in the order.
There's no line delineation
Charlie,
either.
yeah,
Exactly.
so this is where, this is a road that's that goes all the way back.
Yeah.
So anything, whatever that road length is gonna be, if it's whatever it is, 6 or 12 feet.
The VFW is asking for that,
Yep.
or a
Nope,
private individual?
VFW, Sean Sanders.
Wow.
I mean,
So
he
So
works
what-
with Newburgh
I
wastewater.
know him.
So what we have done in the past is that somebody, we need to have somebody identify the footage back to the eastern point, and then the number of feet south,
Somebody's got it pulled up. I don't know who's doing that.
probably.
Mikey.
So there it is, right there.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, you just need to decide, past the berm behind Sanders Clinic, you need to decide where you want, yes, you need to decide where you want that parking to be.
So that, but just so I'm clear,
along that fence road. They don't want people parking there
Correct.
anymore?
No.
I wonder where they're gonna put their,
Yeah, that is what they are specifically asking for.
She said either side.
The post, well, that's what I said, because if you put no on one side, they're gonna park on the other side. And I meant down further if you've got, so,
I thought they actually had lines.
just east,
I don't
the
think
post
so.
doesn't want
I've
any
been out there in a while,
conflict
but
with
I
the
don't think so.
residents just east of our location. Turns into a private drive at the entrance of their property.
Yeah.
But we have realized that patrons have been utilizing the road for parking, causing it to be hard for the homeowner to gain access. So it sounds like it really isn't a whether or not VFW is happy about the change. Sounds like,
I'd say, just a suggestion, I'd make them mark off what they want.
They're asking for no parking signs.
Yeah.
Is what they're asking for.
yeah.
But your ordinance will have to delineate how far, how deep into the property it goes.
So
So
Clint,
there's no
can you
question.
get me the
And then you
length
can
of the
put
road?
signs to that
And then
effect.
the right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Are they talking about the people are parking up the private lane?
Yes.
well, to the private lane.
I've never seen them up there, I've seen them to the mailbox there, and then that's,
Okay.
All I can say is somebody must have done it once and somebody has now complained, which means they have the right to
They probably did one once.
not have parking.
okay. So do we table that right now? What,
Yep.
your pleasure to table that?
Table that so Clint can get me some dimensions.
Motion table.
Second.
I got a motion, second table, VFW parking. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Resolution 2025-9, designating an ADA coordinator. I think that's you, Sarah.
That's me. We have to become compliant with NDOT, and our ADA and Title VI plan is non-compliant. Stipulation of our almost $9 million grant that Mayor told you we received for the finishing out of Third Street is contingent upon these ADA plans. Therefore, I ask very nicely for you to sign and approve the resolution that enables me to be the coordinator. And then we'll start working with HWC and that you've already approved, and we will get the whole ADA transition plan knocked out and compliant with NDOT so we can receive the money to get the grant to finish Third Street. All that in a nutshell.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys read the ordinance, the old ordinance, and that has Michael as the ADA coordinator. So we're changing that, and then make sure in this, and I know it says September 2nd because we thought we were going to meet on September 2nd.
Yeah.
Let's change that to September 9th.
Yep.
And that'll make this, if we pass the resolution. then
Change
that'll-
name and date.
Yeah.
And
You don't have to change the name, because all we're doing is
yeah,
that ordinance, whatever this resolution says, that ordinance, I
Yeah.
guess, that part of that ordinance will no longer be in effect. So,
HWC is an engineer firm.
Hannah Weigel and Klein. Hannah Weigel and Klein.
So you need a motion to read by name and title.
Yeah.
You want a name?
Make a motion to read resolution 2025-9 by name and title only.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion and a second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, ayes have it.
Resolution 2025-9, a resolution designating the individual responsible for coordinating efforts of the city of Boonville, Indiana to comply with Title II and investigating complaints where the town has violated Title II with respect to the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990.
Motion to adopt.
second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion and second signifify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
They only got 4
Ayes
lines,
have
so
it.
somebody will have to sign in between the lines.
Be creative,
Can share spaces.
adapt. Okay,
Is that all they had to approve?
Yes.
presentation of ADA Title VI implementation plan. Is that you too, Sarah?
It is.
All right.
I mean, it's the same spiel, guys.
Okay.
We contacted HWC about 6 months ago to do a new Title VI ADA transition plan once we found out that we were not compliant. And we're not the only one. There's a lot of the state of Indiana who is scrambling. So this is the plan that HWC, myself, Tammy, sat down and worked with. They went through all of our buildings, and they have put all this together. So we need the approval of this in order to keep moving forward to stay in good graces with the state of Indiana.
With your 2 changes.
Yes.
Well, that
It was
was
just-
something else. There were just some grammatical things. Believe it or not, I read it. I actually read it.
I love it.
I
It
went
is
through it.
pretty much,
You're a nerd.
for the most
I
part.
was subbing today and I had nothing else
There
to
you
do.
go.
The kids were being really good, and so I read it while I was
Yeah, so
subbing.
for the most part, these all went to, this is pretty much the same as what Mike did. Michelle started this for the city. Michael took over after Michelle. I'm just following behind, and a lot of this was pulled from Michael's work that he had done before. But you have to do it every 2 to 3 years, and the last time we had done it was in '21, so we've just, small town, small ground, and sometimes we miss some steps. But we are okay in the time frame as long as you guys are good to go with what needs to be signed here this evening.
And if I can say, like I said, since I'm the nerd and I read it, it says numerous times that it's a fluid document. So if they find something else.
It's basically living.
Just be-
I
yeah,
mean, we will
because-
change it as everything
Right.
comes about.
If we approve this, then it doesn't mean that something can't be changed in the future.
Correct, because you're gonna have goals and things that we have to make sure that we have addressed, and when that is done, we go back in the document, we fix that, and then it's always evolving. So we're not coming back and doing any of this, hopefully in the near future.
Okay. I make a motion to move forward with Title IV implementation.
Title VI.
Title VI, yeah. I can't read my Roman numerals. ADA Title VI implementation plan.
No second.
I got a second, a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion and second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, ayes have it.
And the Title VI is like the discriminatory that we have to have, such as that was the male swimmer was the last one I had, that used the Title VI. This is what protects our disabilities and those type of individuals in our city.
Is there anything?
The ADA is more along the lines of ramps, having accessibility, being able to get your wheelchairs through the door, have adequate restroom facilities and those. So we had to go through all of our buildings that were owned, and we have to make sure that they're all ADA compliant, and if not, then we have a plan to make them compliant, which shows our good graces with NDOT.
9 years ago, I think, when they identified everything, it would have taken $4 million
Yeah.
to fix everything ADA. But we were doing a little at a time, and that's what we're continuing to do.
Yep.
I have no idea what the dollar amount would be now.
I don't know,
It's in here. It's $10 million.
at least.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at every
It's in
ramp,
the plan.
Yeah.
There's a spreadsheet.
Where's your
There.
pocket protector?
Okay.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, I've got ordinance 2025-12, making Gum Street between 3rd and 4th, a two-way street.
This is one you guys approved last meeting, and then
Yeah.
asked them to bring this to you guys for final, or for
So we approved the first reading of the ordinance already?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
We did? So I make a motion to approve second reading of ordinance 2025-12 and name and title only.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of that motion and second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Ordinance 2025-12, an ordinance making Gum Street between 3rd and 4th Streets a two-way street.
Make a motion to approve.
No second.
On that note, if you two-way street that, do you need to take the parking off for the properties that are at Fourth and Gum,
He said it was wide enough. That was what he told us when we,
with the cars parked there? That was my question, because I've been through there a couple times lately, and there are 3 large vehicles that are parked there for that home. And,
I'm sorry.
no, go
It's
ahead.
like 30, was like almost 36, but I mean,
No, I was just gonna say, I bet that changes when they open it up both ways, that probably won't.
Okay. Just wanted to make everybody aware that wanted to make sure that got looked at
I mean,
first.
that was addressed when they brought it to us, so.
Good.
Yeah.
So I've got a motion and I got a second. All in favor of that motion, second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next on the agenda, approval of claims. Council.
Make a motion to approve all properly documented claims.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion on the second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Anything else that needs to be brought before the Boonville City Council? If, go right ahead, Richard.
Last year, I represented the constituency. And let everybody know that we are getting ready this week to start our wastewater or pretreatment plant. So we look forward to, we got startup people there today. We're going to start running some water probably on Thursday.
We're all good then, right?
We're good.
Things.
Yeah, that was the easement, so basically what I
Okay.
told Richard is I want to make sure we got the easement in place for us before we let them discharge it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for your help and consideration.
It's been a long and winding road,
Yes,
hasn't
it has. It has.
We got there.
Yeah, we got there.
Okay, again,
Yep.
the final thing before the Boonville City Council is adjournment.
I make a motion for adjournment.
Oh, it's all right.
Second.
Enjoy this, guys.
I got a motion and second. All in favor of that motion, second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your work.